Welcome back. As promised, we are back here at TJ Chumps in Fairborn. It's the Scott Nagy Show, and we'll be talking with the Wright State second-year head coach, along with Coach Jim Brown to my extreme right for those who are watching on the video stream. Coach Nagy right here in the middle of us. Wright State, 8-game winning streak snapped at Milwaukee on Saturday, 66-61 win for the Panthers. We'll talk about that. We got some highlights from the Green Bay win on Thursday and get you up to date on the progress of this Wright State program. Coach Nagy, first of all, just want to say that Coach Brown and I really enjoyed that late-night bus trip all the way back from Milwaukee. I know it was good.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that game, couldn't have been earlier in the day so that we could have gotten home sooner. 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah,
was tough. No question about it.
Especially coming off a tough loss like it was. But as you and Coach Brown talked at the end of the game, give Milwaukee credit. Their guards, they hit 5 straight three-point shots early, kind of set the tone. Loudon got into some foul trouble and kind of made it tough. He had to sit out, only played 9 minutes in that first half.
Yeah, they were more physical than us, more desperate than us for sure. Particularly the first half, second half, I thought our kids played hard. But, as we talked about after the game, we gave them a lot of confidence. And they played well. They did. They were, like I say, by far the more physical team, and that's what frustrated me the most. We're just caught in a situation where, and I have to balance it because we just have so few guys, that are capable of playing for us right now, is how do you practice? How do you practice being tough, like, in other words, screening and rebounding and diving on the floor and doing all those things you need to do to win basketball games? How do you do that without getting guys hurt and getting them to the game?
Right.
And so if you don't do those things, then your kids don't necessarily play that way, and then you're frustrated with that. And so there's a balancing act that we have right now.
Of course, everybody knows you're using a 7-man rotation, and 3 of those are freshmen. You know, 2 redshirt freshmen.
And it's amazing. I was just looking at the stats, and I really don't pay attention. I just go game to game. But I just counted. Last 11 games we played, 8 of them have been on the road. And we've gone 9-2, in that stretch. And what these guys have done is unbelievable. And it's unfortunate that we sit here tonight because we're coming off a loss, and so that's kind of what you remember. But what our guys have done since the Toledo game has been amazing, really.
Well, you talk about, coming off a loss, and these guys are highly competitive. We know we've been with this team so long, and it's really difficult to win on the road, especially in the conference. And, you find out against Milwaukee, but that's where you see a lot more about your team. You can learn from losses. Sometimes if you play bad and you get an ugly win, hey, we get through that. But this loss, really hit them hard, and they're probably ready to get back to practice, and they're focusing on Detroit.
They are, and we didn't do a whole lot today. We're actually even taking tomorrow off, and so we're trying to get them healthy and keep their legs fresh and keep their minds fresh. We watched some film today. That was hard to do. It's hard to go back through that, particularly when you know beforehand that there's going to be a lot of tough things that you did, and so it's not an easy thing for the players to watch. But they care a lot. I don't question that about our players at all. They really care. They want to win for Wright State and the fans and for our basketball team. And so it's been a lot of fun to coach this group.
Coach Brown, you've been in situations like that, I'm sure, many times.
Well, I think this time of the year you have to be concerned about getting tired and wearing out physically. And I've been to a lot of your practices. You've handled that really well, and I've been impressed. Really, how you guys have managed minutes for your players.
Well, we've tried, and obviously it hasn't been very easy since Justin left the team. It's made it a lot more difficult. We're not as good a rebounding team without him, but the kids that are left there playing are giving us everything they have, and we're doing everything we can to manage those. The Milwaukee game was a little easier because it wasn't such a fast-paced game, but prior to that, particularly the 3 games prior to that, when you look at Green Bay and you look at Youngstown and Northern Kentucky, how much they pressure and how fast all those teams play was a little more difficult.
I thought that I don't know, you might not agree with this, but I thought that Cole and Mark Hughes and Benzinger, even it showed a little fatigue on Saturday from, the Green Bay game was a physical game. It was an up and down game, as you said. Green Bay really likes to force the issue. And Milwaukee did early. And I thought late in that game it just looked like Cole and Grant, just looking at them, they might have been a little fatigued.
Yeah, you just look back through that as a coach and wonder, different decisions you could have made. And probably they're late to have Jalen in the game because Jalen's the one guard that we have that is capable of taking the ball off the bounce and going over the top of people and scoring. Grant doesn't necessarily do that, Mark doesn't, and Cole's just not tall enough. But Jalen's the one that can do that, and to not have him in the game at that point, was probably not a very good decision on my part. But I agree. I thought that Milwaukee did a good job of sticking to their guards. The more I thought about that game too, we threw the ball into Loudon. They really gave no help, and Loudon could kind of do whatever he wanted. He just back down and take the shot he wanted. And so we probably should have gone inside more and understood that they were just sticking to our guards and making life difficult for them.
Well, the other thing, Coach, is you've had a bunch of games just like that one. That was a winnable game. I mean, things didn't go your way at the end, but you've won every one of those that's gone down to the wire. I mean, it's amazing. It really is amazing because if you look at the home schedule and the away schedule, how your kids have performed in the last 5 minutes of the game when the game could go either way, you guys have come out on top every single time. Given except for the Milwaukee game.
Yeah, and so we are fortunate to have the record because we're not. It's not like we're blowing teams out. Now we got a big lead on Green Bay, but I was thinking to myself, it's been a long time since we've been in this situation. We're usually in a dogfight just about every game, and so I agree with you. We've had a lot of close games, and we've been able to play very well down the stretch.
All right, well, speaking of Green Bay, we have some highlights from that game this past Thursday, Coach. And for those here inside TJ Chumps in Fairborn, go ahead and look at the screens here, and we'll describe to those listening to the show on radio exactly what's going on. So let's go ahead and get to those Green Bay highlights.
We got up to such a great start in this game defensively, and we knew they were pressuring there, and you can see we had a little backdoor play for Grant. I mean, everybody's sticking so tight to Grant and trying to make life difficult for him. We have to figure out ways to get him shots.
Early in that game, Green Bay just got in the passing lane just virtually every time.
Yeah, they were very spread out. That's why a guy like Jalen, who can put the ball on the floor and make plays, is going to make a play like that. The key to us just getting off to such a great start, though, is we were good defensively. I mean, that's an amazing play right there for Loudon to go take 3 or 4 dribbles, go back down and hit a 10-foot hook. He's really starting to finish. I mean, when I left tonight, he was in the gym shooting. So our guys still, even in January, want to be in the gym and get better.
Speaking of Loudon, for those who don't know, he was the Freshman of the Week again in the Horizon League 4 times already this season.
Yeah, and then Cole was great, obviously. I mean, a career-high 23 points. I think he was 5 for 5 from 3. When he's shooting the ball like that, he makes life difficult because then they can't go underneath screens. And then Everett had a great weekend. Both teams were a little bit spread out, and Everett was able to put the ball on the floor and make good plays for himself.
That was the end of the half play.
Yeah, that's kind of the start of Milwaukee, where we just set a little high screen and roll, and Loudon rolls and gets the dunk. Now, that's probably something you don't want to do when you're 5'8", is dribble down the baseline and pick your dribble up. But it worked out pretty good, obviously, with Grant getting a 3. But we've kind of instructed Cole maybe not to do that anymore.
You let him go because he had a big night shooting the ball.
Yeah.
When he does that, the other guys have, that like the big basket that you made up in Oakland was on a play just like that.
Yeah, it was, but he didn't pick his dribble up. He was on the move.
Yeah.
And Everett's probably our best cutter, but there they are trying to go underneath the screen on Cole, and he hits that 3, and that puts us up big at that point. I think you got to give Green Bay credit that they could have easily cashed it in there, and they didn't. They, even with 2 minutes to go, there was a chance that they could have gotten back in the game.
Yeah, they made it tough. Got it down to close to double digits at some points. A lot of offensive rebounding, and Khalil Small came on in that second half and scored much of his points on that evening. And defensively, I thought the Raiders did a nice job, on him and also Cohen in that first half, especially.
Well, we were really good in the first half. And I think probably the first 15 minutes were about as sharp as we've been all year.
All right, we'll take our first break. This is the Scott Nagy Show. We're coming to you from TJ Chumps in Fairborn. This is Wright State University basketball.
The dreams of Orville and Wilbur climbing up over the silver lining seemed to many a waste of time trying. But before others could find it, the science behind it, the brothers were flying. They might think leaving our feet would be a feat too steep, but not for the dreamers. They might say there's no way, it's better to stay safe, but not for believers. At Wright State, our goal remains central. We are the pioneers of potential.
And welcome back to TJ Chumps. It is the Scott Nagy Show, and along with Coach Jim Brown, this is Scott Nagy, just to my right, those watching on our video screen. And we'll also be hearing from a couple players here in the final half hour between 6:30 and 7. Grant Benzinger, the senior, and also new member of the Raiders, Billy Wampler, the transfer from Drake, sitting out because of NCAA transfer rules. All right, Coach, let's talk about something that is near and dear to your heart, and that's coming up also in the Detroit game, and that has to do with Samaritan's Feet. You know, to those who aren't very familiar with this program and what a wonderful program it is, why don't you talk about that a little bit? I know it's very special to you.
Well, I got involved with it because of my daughter Naika, who's from Haiti, and was trying to figure out a way to maybe help her country a little bit. And when I was in the Summit League, Ron Hunter, who was at IPUI at the time, and Ron's from Dayton, is now at Georgia State and does a very good job. But Ron did the first barefoot game for Samaritan's Feet. And,
Samaritan's Feet is a global humanitarian
I asked him about it because I was trying to figure out a way to help Naika's home country of Haiti, and so I thought this would be an easy way to do it. And there you see a picture of Manny Holman right there, who's the president of Samaritan's Feet, and he might be the most amazing person I've ever met. Samaritan's Feet goes all over the world and does shoe distributions, and what you're doing in shoe distribution is whoever comes in to get a pair of shoes gets their feet washed, they get a brand new pair of socks, a brand new pair of shoes. So this is my 10th year of doing it, and it's been an incredible experience. I've been able to go really all over the world, a couple times to Africa and Haiti, and be involved in some really, really neat shoe distributions. And our players last year went down to the Life Enrichment Center in downtown Dayton, and we were involved in shoe distribution, and we'll do the same thing this Saturday.
So that's the reason why you'll be wearing no shoes at all or socks in the upcoming game on Friday night.
Yeah, it's to bring some awareness, and hopefully people can get involved. One of the things we want to do this year, we were going to do it last August, was take our team to Haiti. And when Ryan's accident happened in April, it really kind of set us back about a month, and so we kind of pushed the trip back. For several reasons, but we're planning this August to take our team to Haiti and spend about 5 days there doing shoe distributions and work with orphanages.
So what can people do to help out? What are some of the things that they can do to help this program?
A lot of times people think, well, I'll just donate a pair of shoes, and you can do that, and I think some people will plan on bringing shoes to the game that night, and we may use some of those shoes even in the shoe distribution at the Life Enrichment Center. But obviously the best way to help an organization is donate money. And I know from working with this group just how ethical they are, and it's when you get shoes, you have to move the shoes, but when you get money, that's obviously a lot easier to move. The Samaritan's Feet actually even has some places where they make their own shoes, and so they've distributed almost 8 million pairs of shoes over the last 10 years. And sometimes, and I've been a part of that, sometimes it might be the first time a person's ever had a pair of shoes in their entire life. And that's an amazing thing to see somebody's face when they get their first brand new pair of shoes.
Life as a head coach can be very stressful at times, but, it does indicate, where your foundation is and, where your thoughts are. And that's expressed, I'm sure, to your players to be able to see, being able to be a part of something here that's so worthwhile in your life, which sometimes can just go by so fast. But if you're able to do things to help others.
Yeah, and, college basketball in particular is very self-absorbing. And you start thinking that everybody is just thinking about you all the time, and the focus is on you. And, it's an intimate sport, and all the players are well-known. And so you just start to believe that everything becomes about you. And the fact of the matter is, it's not. When it's over for these guys, people aren't going to be as interested in them. And so, we're just trying to teach them to be able to serve other people, and hopefully when they leave Wright State, they'll be better fathers, they'll be better husbands, they'll be better leaders in their communities, and this, is just something that kind of leads toward that.
It's very nice, I'm sure, to hear back from former players, like even the years you were at South Dakota State. Good to hear back from other players who I'm sure years down the road think, Coach, I'm glad that, we were involved in certain things that, it's all about life rather than just the game itself.
We took a team from South Dakota State to Haiti about 5 years ago, and I've done a lot of things as a coach, but by far, it's the best thing I've ever done and been a part of as a team was to be able to take a team like that and be a part of that, and just gives guys so much just a different perspective about life.
Coach, I'm sure you agree with that.
Well, we take so many things we just take them for granted in our country, and then when you go someplace else. I was in Vietnam, for example, and the things I saw over there were those people who, had been in war their entire lives. And, it makes you appreciate more what you really have. And I just can't imagine the joy on a kid's face when he gets a pair of shoes for the very first time.
Man, the first time, and honestly, Manny, who started Samaritan's Feet, that's when he was 9 years old. He had a missionary come to Nigeria, and he won a pair of shoes. He was 9 years old, and it was the first time he'd ever had a pair of shoes.
That's priceless.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, I'm sure if people want to be able to help out, they can go ahead and contact the athletic office, too, to get information.
Or they can go to SamaritansFeet.org, which is the easiest way to do it.
All right, Coach, and that's a great cause. And glad you're able to raise awareness with it here, with the Wright State basketball team. All right, we're going to take another break. We'll be back with more of the Scott Nagy Show from TJ Chumps in Fairborn. This is Wright State University basketball.
Please join us for Wright State's annual Arts Gala on March 24th. Enjoy an amazing evening of performances by our incredible fine and performing arts students, plus fine dining and auction items too. All proceeds support art scholarships to help our students succeed. That's Arts Gala on March 24th. For tickets, call or click.
Along with Coach Jim Brown, we are here for the next about 40 minutes. We'll be talking with senior Grant Bensinger and also a newcomer to the Raiders from Drake, and that is Bill Wampler. They'll be with us in the last half hour. Coach Nagy, nice to talk about the 4 recruits that you have already signed their letters of intent and had an opportunity, you and your staff, to be able to see one of those in Pewaukee, just outside of Milwaukee, and I know you came away very impressed with this young man, Grant Basile.
Yeah, Grant Basile, he fortunate enough to be there in Milwaukee on that in-between day so that we could go watch him play. And I think he had 39 and 14 and really going to be a good player. I mean, he's a center that handles the ball and passes it. There's just going to be a lot of things we're going to be able to do through him. He really shoots it. And I think that he'll be up for Mr. Basketball in Wisconsin. I don't know if he'll get it because they have some very high major players there, but he's having a great year.
It's hard to compare players, but I heard some of the other assistants talk about who could you, at least that you've seen, could compare type of player he is, although he's still a high school, but is there anybody that maybe you can relate to?
Yeah, the only one I could compare him to is the one that I left at South Dakota State, Mike Dom, who is a junior there now, and I don't know, Mike maybe led the nation in scoring last year. But Grant is that kind of player where he just has long arms. He handles the ball very well. He passes it. He can, for a big man to be able to put the ball on the floor like he does and make plays is we're going to be able to do a lot of things with him.
Well, apparently he can handle the pressure too because you got your next
coaching
coaching
that's
staff.
Not easy to do
pressure.
when all 4 coaches show up and come watch you play. But he played very well.
He looks like he's about 16 too, Coach. So
that much? No, he's a baby face.
He is really. He just looks like he's going to develop physically more. He's got a great opportunity. He's not. What I mean is, he doesn't look like he doesn't shave, and so you look at him and you say, "My goodness, the upside to him is fantastic."
He'll grow into his body. He'll get in that weight room, and it'll change a lot. And our thought was that we would probably redshirt him, but after watching him, he may be able to play next year. Yeah.
Well, Chris and I both met him, and I had a nice little conversation with him, and he's a fine young man and comes from a winning program, and he's so excited to get to Wright State. I could just tell. I mean, things. If he said it to me once, he said it to me 3 times. I'm really excited, Coach Brown. I'm really excited.
Well, we're excited. Really, all 4 of the kids are having great years. They all are, and to be able to add them to the freshman group that we have, and we still have James Manns who's sitting out there who could have played this year. We decided to sit him out, Bill Wampler, and so. We feel like the future is very bright for Wright State basketball.
Well, you had a chance to see Basile, and also Skylar Potter continues to just put up some big numbers down in Kentucky. Here recently it was said that he's going to be on the Kentucky All-Star team, playing the Ohio All-Star team at the end of the season. Yeah,
I mean, just as good a shooter, maybe that I recruit. He just scores very easily. It's you look and you think he hasn't done much, and he has 30 to 35 points. The thing I really like about him is how well he rebounds. He averages about 12 rebounds a game from the guard spot.
He's a legitimate 6'4", and when we saw him down at Bowling Green, he happened to be at our game. He looks like he's already got a Division I body.
Oh yeah, he's very well put together, and the thing I like about him most is his coach told me the other night he took 5 charges in one game.
And I I heard they say he enjoys that. He says he enjoys that.
Yeah, and there aren't very many people that just enjoy taking charge.
No, very few.
Maybe Parker Ernstausen.
You have
Parker
two
does a
on
great
your
job,
team, Grant and Parker.
Yeah.
And we don't even give Parker's name anymore. We just say offensive
who it
foul,
is.
and you know who it is.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
All right, let's about the other two. First one I think a lot of people don't know about is Malachi Smith, right out of Illinois, Bellevue, right?
Yeah, Bellevue East, and Malachi is just a very strong guard. He can play both positions, the 1 and the 2, and a lot of people recruited him. Missouri State recruited him, offered him. He had quite a few offers. He really had a good visit here, but his team's having a great year, ranked in the state, and he's got another player on his team that's a junior that's probably a high major player, but Malachi's been the leader of that team, and he just had a great season, and I know a lot of people obviously in Illinois that have gone to watch him, and they speak very, very highly of him, how he's playing.
Point guard, correct?
Yeah, he can play both positions, the 1 and the
versatile.
2.
All right. And the other one we'll talk about, another man from
Yeah,
Moeller.
Jeremiah
Davenport.
And Jeremiah's having a great year. His team's obviously a great basketball team, and to be able to get another player out there, we obviously love that program. Because they do such a good job and are used to winning, and be able to have people on your team that are in winning programs, and all of these kids are, it just makes a big difference. But Jeremiah's having a great year.
It's pretty obvious when people say, okay, you say they come from a winning program. Why is that it's so important when you move on to the next level to have kids from the championship teams?
Oh, just, from a competitive standpoint, it's people that when you do lose, don't like it. Because the only way to change, that losing mentality is to find people that just can't stand it. And I always feel that way. It's very, very, very difficult for me to get over losses. I can move past a win pretty quickly, but the losses really hurt me. And to be honest, I don't like to be around people that it doesn't bother quite a bit. I would expect the same from all our players, and to be able to recruit players that come from winning programs, that's what's expected.
And you're seeing that with this group right now, and that's something you said before the season. You really believe in them, and that's something they have.
Our kids care a lot, and I said this to them the other day that they're all in a wheelbarrow, and they looked at me and they didn't understand. But I explained the story to them that there was a guy that walked across Niagara Falls on a tightrope with a wheelbarrow. Empty wheelbarrow, and he got to the other side, and of course the people are cheering and yelling and telling him how great he is. And he says, "Do you think I can do it again?" They all said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, if you do, who's going to get in the wheelbarrow?" And so of course, and this is what I'm saying: our players are in the wheelbarrow. They believe that we can get it done. It doesn't mean that we're always going to win, but I know that our kids care a lot and believe that we can get it done.
Don't you think that when you get kids in your program from winning programs, that really helps you when you get into we talked earlier about the fact that you've had 5 or 6 really tight games and you won most of those, and don't you think that helps you because they
just think they're going to win.
Yeah.
They think they're supposed to win, and we talked about this earlier. You play how you view yourself, and if you think you're supposed to win when you walk in, you're going to play that way. And it's just kind of a culture. You hear that word a lot, culture, but it is a big part of it where you just have a bunch of kids that believe every time they walk on the floor they're supposed to win. Not even going to win, but they're supposed to win and figure out ways to do it.
Well, that's what's so impressive because on the road it's tougher, and that's when really got to have that toughness because the crowd starts to get in it, and it's easy to say, okay, well we were good tonight, but we're just they're going to beat us, but. Your kids haven't done that. I mean, they've won tough games on the road. Yeah. Oakland, Northern Kentucky, even Detroit. I mean,
and we, the amazing thing is 3 of those kids are freshmen.
Yes,
that are playing that way, and they're all making significant contributions.
Not in the years that I've done games with the Horizon League and former the MCC that you've seen a team go through the entire season undefeated. It's difficult, especially you were talking about how the target is on your back. But this team obviously very upset, that they lost and the way they bounced back. So, you got half the season to go. The 9th game coming up against Detroit during the league season on Friday. But you know what? It's just going to be tough. It's a grind. It's a hard grind. And I think it's good that you take each game at a time.
Yeah, because if you don't, you can lose focus. And like you say, we're not even halfway through the conference season yet. And I've had people talking to me about the NCAA tournament and going on the road. Well, those games should be easy. And I look at them like, are you crazy? I mean, there's no easy game. And when you go on the road, there's really no easy game. I don't care who you play. Yeah. And so it's great that people are getting excited about what we're doing, but there's still a lot of games to be played. We have a very small margin of error with our basketball team because of the number of kids we play and our experience and those kind of things. And so Our guys, and we talked about this after the Milwaukee game. If we don't, we're going to get everybody's best shot at this point, being 7-1. And if we don't show up fully ready to go, it could be a problem for us.
Yeah, it's not Stratomatic basketball. You just throw a team out there and you're going to win each game, and you move on to the next one. You have to work really hard.
Yeah, and I'm hoping to get to that point where we can put that kind of talent out there where we can play really, really poorly and still figure out ways to win. But we're not there yet. And so with our basketball team, we have to be on point, locked in, and we really have to be good defensively.
And that's what you got to really like about this group, because they find a way to win. They have shown that already by winning on the road.
They believe it. When we look at what we've done in the last 11 games, like I say, 8 of those on the road and how well we played, our kids really believe they're supposed to win.
And one thing that they really deserve too, and that's some home court support. And let's hope a lot of people come out for the Parents' Feet special on Friday night against Detroit, and then Oakland on Sunday, Coach. I know they would really appreciate the support at the Nutter Center.
Well, I think, and you can feel that there's some good energy being generated, and people are getting excited about this. And, people don't show up and then you win. You have to win to get people to show up. I know how this works, and so we just need to stay on track.
All right, Coach. Again, thanks for your time, and best of luck with Detroit on Friday. Hey, stay with us here at TJ Chumps in Fairborn. We got down here, I think, Grant Benzinger. Is he up first, or Bill Wampler? We'll figure that out here during the break. We'll have more of the Scott Nagy Show when we continue from Fairborn. This is Wright State University basketball.
Please join us for Wright State's annual Arts Gala March 24th. Enjoy amazing performances by our incredible art students, plus fine dining and auction items too. All proceeds support art scholarships. That's Arts Gala on March 24th.
Along with Coach Jim Brown, and we are joined by one of the new members of the Wright State University basketball team. NCAA transfer rules, can't play this year, but he's from Drake University, and his name is Bill Wampler. And Mr. Wampler, thank you very much for joining us here tonight.
Great to be here.
I know we got the last minute notice. We were supposed to have the men of Moeller here tonight with Grant Benzinger and also Trey Stacy, but Trey had a school project he was working on, and you sat in here in the pinch, and it's great to have you here. I know we get a lot of comment back from the fans about the opportunity to talk with the players. They get to know them a little bit better, and they look forward to getting to know you a little bit better. Tell us where you're from.
I'm from Eau Claire, Wisconsin, so way up north, probably close to the border of Minnesota, about 35 minutes away from Minneapolis, so that's where I spent a lot of my days was in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So a lot of people think I'm from Minnesota, and I kind of claim I am.
You a Vikings fan?
No, I'm not.
Oh, that's good, because I was going to bring it up then.
I'm a Packers fan. So
hey, there you go. I like that.
It's a tough year for us this year, though.
So am I also. Coach, you always enjoy talking with the players and getting to know these young men. I've heard now, and this is just what I've heard from people. They say that you are one of the better shooters on this team.
Yeah, that's kind of what I like to do. Since high school, I kind of got double, triple teamed, and so I kind of went the soft way out, and I started shooting from further and further away, and I got pretty good at it as my high school season went on. And then through AAU, I had a lot of good players that would give me the ball, and I was able to shoot the ball a lot, and that's kind of how I got really good at it. And I know Coach Nagy would attest to this as well. He recruited me at South Dakota State as well, and I wasn't as good of a shooter. And then my transition from my junior to senior year, I shot over 1,000 shots a day during the summer, and I became probably one of the better shooters in the country over that period. And I think it was 21 Division I offers over that course of that summer, and so that was kind of where I really.
And that says a lot about the work ethic and the time that you put in with that. All right, take us through the process. You go to Drake and you decide to transfer to Wright State. You just said a moment ago that they recruited you at South Dakota State. What was in your decision to come here?
It was really just being able to win, and Coach Nagy has a really good record of winning games and taking programs to the NCAA tournament, and I think I did enough losing from the whole team at Drake University, so I wanted to come here and be able to win some games, and that was really the biggest thing for me when transferring. And he's proven to win games, and I just trusted in the system and being able to fit right in. And Coach Sargent was one of the biggest factors because he played for him, and he showed me kind of where I'd fit in the system, and it was really good for me to be able to see that from a player's perspective. And I was just really excited to be here, and I committed like the first day I was on my visit, which was pretty exciting for me.
It's going to be difficult, though. Every player has to do this who transfers, and it's a tough decision. You talked about that, but you have to sit out a year. That has to be the most, I don't want to say disappointing, but it's got to be really frustrating. You can't get out there and play.
Yeah, it's really tough to not be able to get out there. But I really appreciate it because I get a whole nother extra year, and I can see it from the coach's perspective, and that's something as a player, you don't really get to see too often. So now I know exactly what coach wants. So hopefully he doesn't get to yell at me next year for all this stuff. But yeah, and so I think I'm also playing. My body's in the best shape it's ever been, and I feel like I'm playing the best basketball I have been playing in a long time. So that's really exciting for me.
Of course, Everett Winchester and Loudon Love, they sat out last year. They're redshirt freshmen. You talked to them about what it was like for them?
Yeah, it was my best friend at Drake University was also redshirting. He was my roommate, so his experience was tough, and he told me all about the workouts. And they said that it was tough to be able to just sit there and watch, and you really want to be able to get on the court and help. And sometimes I catch myself trying to run on the floor and help my teammate up or something like that. But it's just because I don't want to get ejected because that was tough.
No, you don't want to do that.
Yeah, no.
Go ahead, Coach.
Well, yeah, it's interesting. You talked about shooting because I've always felt that shooting is something that's not a God-given talent.
Right.
That's something that anybody can do, but they have to have the work ethic. They've got to practice. And I was happy to hear you say that it took 1,000 shots in the summertime, probably more than that.
Yeah.
But to get to where you wanted to be as a shooter, and the great thing about being a good shooter is it makes you quicker.
Right.
Don't you think? I mean.
Yeah, definitely, and it really expands every other part of your game as well. Because if you're a threat from outside, it really opens driving.
They got to come out and guard you.
Yeah, and expands the floor for your teammates as well. Driving lanes for open layups and stuff like that.
It's interesting. You talked about Drake, the fact that the first 2 years that they didn't win. Now they're winning.
They're winning.
They're having a.
I was the
they're
problem,
having
I
a
guess.
decent. Yeah, right.
I like it.
No, but I mean, that's that's something that as a player you have 4 years in college, and it would be so frustrating to be at a school that just didn't have any success, and so I can really understand your desire to get to a program that has a winning tradition. So we're really happy to have you here, and I know that where do you see yourself position wise? A wing player for my.
I feel more like me and Grant do a lot of things similar, and I think that's kind of what Coach sees me as is. I don't want to say like a replacement for Grant when he's gone, but I mean,
Remember, he's got last talk.
I know
here,
he's got last talk, so I better get my stuff in. But no, we do a lot of things similar, and I feel like that'd be a good comparison. But more of a wing, and I played a lot of forward at Drake, so it's kind of more of a versatile player. I could play the 3-4 too. I can handle the ball, and I'm handling the ball a lot better.
I had heard through the grapevine that was one of the reasons why you considered transferring was they wanted to play you inside. You wanted to get out.
Yeah, I was playing. We had a smaller team at Drake, so I played a lot of 4, and I was guarding like Shaq Morris from Wichita State.
Yeah.
It was tough for me because he's 6'9", like 265. So.
Talk about high school. When you were in high school, did you just play basketball or did you play other sports?
I played football, I played soccer, and like my junior year, I committed fully to basketball. But I mean, I had a lot of experience because I'm from in northern Wisconsin. You basically play a bunch of sports because I went to a smaller high school, so it was you're a 3-sport athlete or you're not.
Do you think it makes you a better athlete, so to speak, to play multiple sports as a young player?
Yeah, I think so because you worked out a lot of different muscles and you just became more rounded of a person and being able to, especially football. Football is the main reason I started lifting weights. So that made me stronger in high school. I think that overall made me a better player.
And I think also you're exposed to different environments. You're exposed to different coaches, different teammates, different ideas. I just think it makes you a little bit more rounded.
For sure, 100%.
What are you studying here at Wright State? Have you decided
Business
yet?
management, yeah.
Oh, good school for that.
I'm on track to graduate, yeah.
Oh, you're on track, huh?
Yeah,
All right.
Hopefully. I mean,
That's good to hear.
that's
No,
the last time I checked.
the reception, the reception from your teammates. This is a really great group to be around. It had to be awesome when you got here.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was almost like I've been here my first 2 years, and I know me and Cole talk a lot because we played each other when he was at South Dakota State and I was at Drake, and so we kind of knew each other from before, and he always goes back and forth about how I was like, they made fun of me on their scouts and stuff like that, but it's just good. The guys have really accepted me, and I feel like I fit in a lot better than I've ever fit in anywhere else.
Well, let me ask you this real quick, Coach.
Yeah.
We're talking about the players. Jalen Hall, we all know about his ability to cut hair. Has he ever come up and wanted to take care of that?
The thing with my hair is I said I'm not going to cut my hair until I can play again.
Oh,
So,
okay. All right.
Only the top. So the top is still on until I can play again, and I'm not for sure. Like at that point, I may cut it off, but it's such a long commitment. I might keep it. So you never know. We'll see. Yeah.
I have a question. Now that Wichita State is the part of the Missouri Valley, and you've had a chance to see not all of the teams in the Horizon League, but a good portion of them. You were down at Northern Kentucky, went down there that night and saw that game. How I'd be interested in knowing how you would compare the talent level in the Horizon League with what you saw in the Missouri Valley?
I'd say it's pretty on par. Other than Wichita State was probably
Yeah,
like the
they're
only exception.
another, yeah.
And the Illinois State team that last year was really good. But the Wichita State team was probably, they had some of the best athletes and the best players. Like I played against the team after they went 36-0. So it still had Ron Baker and Fred Van Vliet.
yeah.
And so like that team was just, it was like you're standing there and like there's 2 NBA players on the other team, and it was just incredible.
I think that one of the biggest differences is the crowds.
Oh, yeah.
The crowds in the Missouri Valley are really good, and,
Yeah.
and our league's got to get to that. That's one of the most disappointing things about our league is just the crowds. People complain about Wright State. Right? I mean, Wright State has great crowds compared to the other teams in the league. We were at Green Bay and we were in Milwaukee. You'd put them all together and you wouldn't have a Wright State crowd.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, Milwaukee had one of their better crowds of the year for our game on Saturday, but the game previously against Northern Kentucky, they told us there were only like 300 people there, in that arena. So, obviously, winning helps, what Coach Nagy talked about. And Bill, let's talk a little bit about, more of your game. And also you were talking about how you played more of the, 4 position when you were at Drake.
3-4.
And you talked about, Shaq Morris being at 6'9", 265. And you know where I'm going with this. In practice, have you ever had to run into that truck out in the love?
Yeah, it's more fun when he's on your team. 'Cause, playing on scout team, we're often especially because we're undersized for the scout team, so we often double team him a lot. And there's a lot of elbows and little pushes that go on, just trying to make him better. But he's a big guy, and it hurts to get hit by him. I would compare him probably stronger than Shaq Morris, but Shaq Morris. Probably
Someone from the Horizon League tweeted the other day that he was created in a lab.
I mean, I wouldn't believe that.
Yeah. You got to give him a lot of credit. When he came here, he was 50 pounds more, and he's really worked out. Like you said, you're getting yourself into shape too, for next year.
Yeah, and I think Coach Nagy does a really good job of establishing, like you guys were talking about, the culture, and he really establishes getting in the gym, bringing somebody with you, and making sure that everything you do is game speed and that you're ready for the season, and every rep matters.
Have you thought about during the off season? We got ways to go in the season right now when you're practicing with the team, but the things that you're going to work on to get even better, so you're ready to go next year?
Oh yeah, that's kind of like most of my workouts have been focused on what I'm going to get better at for next year and what he wants me to do. And a lot of the film we've been watching is like where I'm going to be fitting in and how to do this. And that's for me on the sidelines, especially because when I'm watching the game, I always picture myself like, where am I going to be? Like, what can I do to help, or how can I get better defensively here, and what does Coach Nagy want? And that's basically what this whole year has been for me so far.
Bill Walper from Wisconsin, and Coach, I can't remember too many players who have been here at Wright State from the state of Wisconsin.
No, we had one on our national championship team who was really, really good, Anthony Bias. He was from 6'5" guard, could do everything, and he was from Wisconsin, Milwaukee, in fact.
All right, we'll have 2 next year with Basili
Well,
coming
I
in.
asked Coach Nagy about this when we were on our trip about the level of because he's recruited Wisconsin a lot, and I asked him, how would you compare high school basketball in Wisconsin with Ohio and Kentucky and Indiana? And he said, well, basketball is probably the sport in Wisconsin. Now, I would have thought maybe hockey or football, but he said basketball, and he compared it very favorably. So, that's good to know.
Yeah, I think basketball it was probably on the rise, because hockey, a lot of parents have kind of taken their parents or the kids out of that.
Plus, it's expensive.
It's really expensive, yeah.
It doesn't cost much to go shoot a basketball.
Yeah, but where I'm from, one of the high schools is actually ranked top 15 in the nation in hockey, so it's a pretty big deal. Still around northern Wisconsin where I'm from, but I think more towards Milwaukee area, it's a lot more basketball oriented. And I think the only 2 Division I players from my area were me and Henry Ellenson, who went to Marquette, now he plays for Detroit. And so we were probably the only 2 basketball players that were really from northern Wisconsin.
Bill Walper, we ran out of time, but it was great to visit with you. You can come back anytime, all right? Bill Walper, right?
Yeah.
Look forward to seeing you play next year.
Thank you.
All right, stay with us. Grant Benzinger gets the last word when we return to TJ Chumps and Fairborn. This is Wright State University basketball.
The Horizon League Men's and Women's Basketball Championships invade Little Caesars Arena March 2nd through 6th with an NCAA tournament automatic bid at stake. Don't miss your chance to see elite college basketball action as all 10 Horizon League teams battle for conference bragging rights. Fans can reserve their seat by contacting their university box office today. For more information, visit horizonleague.com. Experience Motor City Madness at Little Caesars Arena March 2nd through 6th.
Along with Jim Brown, we're back here at TJ Chubb's. Good crowd here tonight on this Monday. Up next for the Raiders, it'll be Detroit Mercy on Friday night at 7 o'clock tip-off, and then Oakland on Sunday at 2 at Wright State University's Nutter Center. Raiders are back home. They have been road warriors over the last couple of weeks. Grant Benzinger now joins us, one of the seniors on the squad this year. And, Grant, tough loss, at Milwaukee. And I could really tell at the end of the game that you and just about everybody on that team really, really upset. You do not like the taste of losing.
No, we don't. We're not used to it really in conference. We won 7 in a row, so we were kind of, I hate to say it, but we were expecting the win, and we just thought we were going to walk in and get the win, and we just didn't show up. We didn't do the things we needed to do, and that's on me.
Well, I know as a senior you take a leadership role, and it's not bad to expect to win. Expect to win because you guys have played hard, all year long. But what are some of the things that you saw? I know Coach said earlier, he said it was really tough watching the video back of that game. What are some of the things that were difficult for you to see?
We just didn't play with the same juice on defense that we usually do. And then offensively, we didn't move the way we usually do or share the ball. We, at the end, you could tell we were kind of pressing a bit, and some guys got selfish, including myself. And you can't have that. A prime example of just staying calm under pressure was last night. The Patriots, Tom Brady, they're down 10, and you wouldn't know it looking at their sideline, and we need to kind of take that, and I think we have in these games before and prior, but we just didn't at Milwaukee for some odd reason.
Well, that's interesting. You say that, but when you're in a situation, you just react. You guys get together as a group after timeouts and on the floor, and you kind of discuss what you want to do. But in that situation, it was getting a little helter-skelter at times.
Yeah, we were. We weren't the aggressor. What you just said, we were reacting, and we should have been the one attacking and making them react to us, and that's not what we were doing.
Well, that's what makes it so much of a challenge, though. You can't, you expect to win, but then again, it's a grind. You have to do for 40 minutes. You got to keep yourself mentally in the game.
Yeah, we've done a pretty good job at that. I think early in conference and even early in the season, we were really bad at the beginning of games, like atrocious for some reason, and we kind of fixed that. And Milwaukee, we didn't put 40 minutes together that we typically do.
Well, give some credit, though, to Milwaukee also. Coach Brown talked about their guards were really good.
Well, their guards I thought played exceptionally well. I didn't think it was so much how we played; it was how Milwaukee played. And Milwaukee, they've only won 6 games. How in the world that's happened? How in the world, or 8 games, I guess? How in the world they've allowed that to happen? Because early in the season they went and beat a really good Iowa State team on the road by 18 points. Now, you people that follow the Big 12, Iowa State's in the same league with Kansas.
And they're tough at home.
And gave Kansas all they wanted. And then they beat a good Loyola team at home, a team we played the first game of the season and lost a close game, beat them by 9 or 12 points. So they're very capable. And I was concerned about this game, and I'm sure you were too, simply because what happened when they played Northern Kentucky. They got blown out against Northern Kentucky, and you know how college Division I players are. They respond to that sort of thing.
Yeah, they're that's a tough group over there, and this is their coach's first year, so they're trying to figure things out and learn under their new system, and the wins just haven't came. But their guards, they're tough guys. They're inside too. They have some tough interior posts, and yeah, he killed us, and credit them.
Well, he was a difference, I thought, because if we didn't double team him, he maneuvered well enough to make some tough shots. And when we did double team him, they reversed it, and their kids hit shots.
Yeah.
I mean, they hit shots on the perimeter, and all the credit to them, because I felt like it wasn't so much. I agree. The first half, I thought we were a little off offensive. We just seemed we couldn't get in any kind of rhythm.
Yeah, no, we couldn't at all, and that's them though. They watch film too, just like us, and they see that when we get pressured, we don't deal well with it, and that's what they did. They made reversing the ball tough, and that kind of threw everything off, threw the flow off, and we would throw it into Lou, and he did great, but just foul trouble with him. When he gets out of the game, and we don't really have that inside presence, it makes things even tougher.
That's a possibility, though, but you guys have to rely on some other guys, and we even said that, in the broadcast. Who's going to step up at this point?
Yeah.
None of us did, I guess.
Well, I thought both, particularly Everett Winchester, I thought he was phenomenal. I mean, he got a huge basket at the end of that game that I think got us a 1-point lead because he made the free throw.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those deals where, we played hard. I would agree with you. At the end of the game, we might have taken some shots that were ill-advised. But the key thing is you're going to lose games, and how do you bounce back from that? That's the key thing.
Yeah, to bounce back, you just put your head down and work. That's all you can do. That's what we know on this team. And I heard you guys talking about going undefeated in conference, and I wanted to do that. My freshman year, I won 2 conference games, so I know what it's like to. I know what it's like to just not win a game. I don't think we won a game in February my freshman year. So
that's when you had all those injuries.
Yeah, I wanted to just make up for that 1 year this year, and so that was a tough one.
Well, there's a lot of games to play. Right?
Yeah.
And you can get another streak going right now.
We're ready. We're ready for Friday. We're ready now.
Yeah, now you go a second time through. We haven't seen Cleveland State yet, all right, but you have seen Youngstown State. But this is going to be the 9th game, and this will be the second time you've seen the Titans.
Yeah, it's always tough the second time through because you know everybody, you know what they do. No one's putting anything new in right now. Maybe some small plays, but everyone has their defensive principles that should take care of that. And it's going to come down to leadership and who's more together as a team and toughness. And I like the group that we have. I think we have those traits. So we're ready for second time through.
Well, it's obvious each player individually deals with a tough loss like that, individually. Have you gotten together as a group, since then? You've had some time off just to kind of, talk, all right, guys, what can we do as a group to make this better?
I think we kind of just did that in film today, film and practice. We looked at the good, bad, and ugly, and Coach got on some of us. He said some good things, too. And none of us, we all realized, we should have played better, and we should have won that game. We just dropped it. We dropped one, and it happens. We just got to move on now.
Let's talk about something a little bit more positive, and that was that performance down at Northern Kentucky. I want to tell you, you hit shots.
Big for him.
You hit shots down there. I want to ask you. There was a shot that you took late in the game. It was a 2-point game. It was right in front of Chris and I. You were about 15 feet from the basket on the right-hand side. You had McDonald on you. How in the world you even saw the backboard, let alone and you banked it in? It was one of the great shots I've seen as a commentator.
Do it all the time, right?
Yeah.
No, not that shot you don't do all the time.
I practice that every day, let me tell you. But yeah, it's just one of those games. You get caught up in the moment. You just want to win so bad, and I can't tell you what was going through my head. I don't even know if I was thinking at that point. I probably blacked out. But it was just looking at I watched it, actually. I saw the shot, and if I'm a coach, I'm saying, why would he shoot that? What is he thinking? It's just.
Well, the shot clock was winding down.
Yeah,
he had to shoot it.
He made it. I made it, so great. But I trying to get move on to Detroit.
After wins, you have a big smile on your face, and with that Northern Kentucky game, that was extra special for you to win there. You had a lot of family and friends there.
Yeah, I had about I think I had 45 total there. Just all family. I have a really big family, so it was really great to do what we did there and in front of them. I think it was the first time, because last year things were going on, but they were all there for the first time. My 4 years so special.
You just heard Bill Wampler, talk about you guys kind of go at each other in practice. He said he was very careful how he worded it. He says, "I can't replace Grant Benzinger, but
no, he won't even replace me, but he'll add to this team next year. He's going to be amazing for you. Fans are going to love him the way he plays. A better scorer than I. I don't know if he's tougher, but he knows how to put the ball in the hoop, and he's going to be really, really good here.
Maybe you can get in one of those shirts, though. For those who are listening, it's Street Fighter 2.
Yeah.
I mean, that describes Grant Benzinger.
Yeah. That's I love that video game. I watched. There's a cartoon little series. It's a 4-part series. You guys ever want to check it out? It's pretty good. But a big fan of Street Fighter. Yeah.
All right.
Well, you know, I saw you play one game in high school. It was at UD Arena. You had already committed, and I didn't know a thing about you. But the thing that I was so impressed with was diving on floors, your toughness rebounding. I was just so impressed. And I thought, boy, Wright State really got a good player with Grant. And I didn't know you could shoot the ball like you can. But you're right. The toughness that you play with is contagious because you see it with other players.
Yeah, it's you just want to lead by example sometimes. You can do all the talking. You can say, hey, you need to dive on this. You need to go get this ball. But if someone that's playing a lot and shoots the shots that I shoot is doing it, the other guys will do it.
Off.
And I think it's important that the young guys see that. I think our freshmen are unbelievable. And when I'm done, I hope I instilled that in them, and they'll carry it on.
Except when they saw that needle go in, you have to have that hole in your hip.
Yeah, they don't want the pain that goes with the glory, but it's all right.
That's all right. And Jason Franklin's your best friend, right?
Oh yeah.
He's the athletic trainer here at Wright State University. Well, Grant, coming up next, you said is get right on track again. Against Detroit Mercy coming up this Friday. Obviously, we're hoping we get some people out there in support because this team plays extremely hard, and I know that you guys are going to put on a good effort.
Yeah. I think it'll be a really exciting game. Detroit, I don't know if they still do it, but they're putting up 90 the first time through.
87.3. They're giving up 87. That's where you got to get them. You
gotta get them
at the offensive end.
We don't want to give up 87.
No. You won't like that.
I think if you go to the game, you won't be disappointed. It won't be like Milwaukee where it was 66, 61. I think it'll be we don't want them to score that much, but we want to be up there, so it'll be an exciting game.
All right, it all starts with defense, though, doesn't it?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, that's what we preach, and we know that you can shoot as well as you want, but if you're giving up layups and open threes, you're most likely not going to win the game.
All right, Grant. One thing real quick. I know we've already talked about him a little bit, but Davenport from Moeller High School started with Troy Tabler, at least while I've been here. Then we have you for 4 years, and we'll have him for 4 years, so 12 years of the Moeller.
Yeah, well, not only me. You had Trey. We have Trey Stacy,
Trey
too.
with you. He's with you, right.
Me and Trey have been playing basketball together now for 8 years, so it's going to be sad when we're last game here.
All right, we got a lot of basketball to play, and it starts on Friday. Grant Brensberger, thank you very much. Coach Brown, as always, thank you. Thanks for everybody for coming out here tonight. Again, the Raiders up against Detroit Mercy coming up on Friday, 7 o'clock tip-off at Wright State University's Nutter Center. We'll have that one for you on the radio beginning at 6:45 with the pregame, tip-off at 7, and also it'll be on ESPN3. For Jim Brown, Chris Collins, thanks for being with us here on the Scott Nagy Show. This has been Wright State University Basketball.